In this video, I'm going to tell you about breathwork journeys versus just the term breathwork. So here's the thing, breathwork is such a big term right now. So many people are talking about breathwork, but what does it actually mean? Now, here's the thing, you could go to a yoga class and be practicing breathwork that is all about regulating your nervous system, shifting you into parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. And that breath work might look something like what we've covered in the past on this channel, which could be box breathing. Box breathing as a reminder, inhaling up, pausing at the top, and then exhaling at the bottom, pausing and repeating. This practice is incredible to shift you from sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, into parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. There's also the cyclic sigh, which is proven to be the #1 breath work practice to relieve yourself of anxiety and stress. In the description of this video, we have a link to the cyclic sigh and the science behind it. But just so you know right now, it's simply inhaling through the nose, inhaling again, and exhaling through the mouth. And doing that repeatedly is scientifically proven, backed up by Dr. Andrew Huberman's lab at Stanford Health, to be the #1 way to relieve anxiety and stress. Here's what I really want to talk with you about today. It's breathwork journeys. These are deep, cathartic, trauma release breathwork journey experiences. Now, when you hear someone use the words breathwork, because it can be spelled as one word or two words, realize that they may be talking about something similar to the cyclic sigh or box breathing that is designed to help regulate into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. Or they could be talking about a breathwork journey, which is designed to mimic a trauma response by shifting you into the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. We're no longer getting chased by saber-toothed tigers or having to really defend our lives in life or death, yet we are constantly in a state of fight or flight. And it's because of the chaotic nature of our society and the overwhelm. This is why mental health rates have increased so much and why it's so crucial to find ways to increase your own mental well-being. Point being, we're operating in sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. What we really want to be operating in is rest and digest, the parasympathetic, which is why it's so important to find these grounding tools like the cyclic sigh to calm ourselves. But at the same time, it's important to do our work. It's important to dive into the depths of our psyche if you're willing to do what's called shadow work, coined by the famous psychiatrist Carl Jung. And shadow work basically means making the unconscious conscious, bringing to the surface those parts of ourselves that we may not be familiar with, to familiarize ourselves with them to become whole. And that's exactly what a breathwork journey is all about. It's about to get us into deep, deep, deep fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, to mimic a trauma response so that we can release it. Imagine, if you will, a lion chasing a gazelle in the wild. If the gazelle is lucky enough to survive, what does the gazelle do? It kind of convulses and shakes. It's removing the trauma out of its body, because science teaches us that there is a 90-second physiological response that happens when we experience an emotion. And emotions are energy in motion. I'll say that again. When we experience an emotion, it could be trauma or it could be something that would be a little bit less, like stress or anxiety. Any range of emotions, we actually have a physiological response that goes on in the body. It takes about 90 seconds. So instead of constricting and tightening, realize that emotions are energy in motion. And when you constrict and tighten, that emotion, that energy gets stored in the body. And we've done so throughout our lives to constrict and tighten. So we have so much stress, anxiety, fear, anger, rage, sadness, grief, all of these different emotions in our body, but also trauma. And it's very important to not compare our trauma. Realize that we all experience trauma. So if you haven't done anything to address the traumatic experiences in your life, then we just have more layers of stuff piling onto us that keep us in a lower state of whether it's victimhood, woe is me, or just not feeling our best. So what a breathwork journey, why it's so important is because it gives us the opportunity to lean into those experiences and release that energy that's stored in the body. So if you're interested in learning more about breathwork, whether it's deep trauma release breathwork journey experiences, or just some more practical breathwork exercises that you can use on a daily basis to regulate the nervous system into rest and digest, reach out to me. I'd be happy to provide some different resources that could work for you, whether you are a business or a person. It's really no different to me. If you're someone that wants to increase your mental well-being, I highly recommend to find ways to regulate your nervous system. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos.